This is basically myself, Sunil Ramkrishnan, and here basically we are talking about the 43rd question. This is the one of the most greatest question basically ever basically you might have heard actually. And basically this basically the medical industry basically and the energy industry both are basically connected here, and they are mostly doing the experiment of this thing basically, and they mostly might be doing the experiment, and they might be currently also doing the experiment. The question is basically there are basically assume that there are 100 people in this basically experiment. They have taken 100 people, they means medical industry and energy experts that are basically IOC, ONGC, then Ames Oxygen, then Reliance, IPCL. These all are basically the root of India, root of India. So they basically taken 100 people for the experiment, and in 100 people basically uh, they have done the experiment. They basically this 100 people basically was diagnosed with the assume that 10 problems each, basically 100 people basically having 10 problems. So that multiplication 1000 more than 1000 basically, it's basically more than 1000 only basically we can say, because problem always increase, because the earth planet says that you are basically created for problem solving only. So like this basically the problems keeps on increasing, and like this assume that we have taken 10 problems, so we will stick with 10 problems only. So like this basically the 10 problem basically was diagnosed, and this was captured by the energy companies that are basically ONGC, Ames Oxygen, then IPCL, Reliance. This all Tata Consultancy. Sorry, it's a Tata Powerhouse. Then basically there are many basically, and but these all are the famous in front of the world. So here we will not go into detail, but this is reason. This is just a question. Basically, answer basically we will go into in detail how basically things are working. So they basically taken 100 problems. Sorry, 100 people's 10 each basically contains 10 problems. They dumped into the cities basically. That these all are the basically problems that basically this 100 people is having, and these 100 people are very powerful people. That's why basically they are dumb. Otherwise, normal people basically how they are going, how this ONGC, IOC, and this company is going to take the problem. So they all are basically rich people and very powerful people. Basically, they have taken this 100 people's 10 problems. Each people basically contains 10 problems. So like this, more than 1,000 problems basically are dumped into that 130 countries basically. So just see basically how the things are going to work. Now basically they again basically repeated that problem in their life. How basically things are going to work. How the stories basically are going to created by the political people, the each and every agencies basically. Due to that group only basically the problem basically occurred. The group basically will exist, will not exist. If exist, then basically how they are going to treat each and everything basically is going to be created by step, going to create step by step basically. And here basically the group basically who are doing the experiment, that are basically energies companies, they are going to set each and every stories again, same thing they are going to repeat it. That this is basically called repeat. So like this basically they are going to repeat each and every problems again which they have faced. Now basically the things are going to be how they are, each and every people basically connected with that group basically how they are going to react, and what is the reaction which is going to happen to that 130 country basically where these problems are basically dumped. That is basically in the form of energy form. How this is going to interconnect, how this is going to change, how the things are going to be stable. For example, few people energies are basically handling the buildings energy, Buildings energy means earthquakes is when the earthquake are happening, that time basically these energies are basically handling the building stability. Means when small earthquake basically happens, that time basically this whole energy basically are into the earthquakes not supposed to happen. That is basically building is not moving left side, right side, and top side and bottom side. The reason was this energy basically exists. So what are this effect going to happen to this whole energy basically? How the things are going to work according to the repeat problem story. So this is basically also one of the 43rd question. And in 43rd, this is basically 43rd question basically. So this is also basically one of the greatest problem, sorry, greatest question basically. And the greatest answer basically we are going to give on time only.